shit that I can care less about. I don't care nothing about your nationality card. Right? That's not had nothing to do with me. That does not a knock on you. Right? Don't try to force your nationality card on me, and I won't tell you to flip it over and see that it says citizen of the United States.
She Arrowhead said, can you touch on laurel tree? I have 5 generations.
The laurel tree is the tree of wisdom. It's the tree of wisdom. That's what it is. It's called the laurel tree. Laurel is wisdom. Right. So that's what he's talking about, the laurel tree. So if you go back to Genesis and it say that man ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, that's the tree of wisdom. And then they was trying to keep them from eating from the tree of eternal life. That's Awas, the world tree.
They said, what tribe does that go back to? Or who in what tribe?
What's the laurel tree?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's ancient, and we had one on every landmass. They cut them down on purpose. The biggest one was what we know as Lookout Mountain in Arizona, where they filmed Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That was our laurel tree. The one for Africa was in South Africa. It was near where Credo Mutwa's temple was located, right? And not far from that was what we call the Yoni of Earth, which is actually a small pond that the women do rituals in for cleansing the earth.
All right, last one, cause why can't the Crystal City land and be a place of refuge for those who want to leave this dead system?
It's not necessary. That's the only reason. Right. And awareness has to reach a certain level before it land anyway.
Y'all got like 2 more questions y'all want to ask them before we let them go? I appreciate you taking time out of your day.
Happy Father's Day to all the the people that watch your channel ask good questions.
Yeah,
they ask good questions, and you know I don't have no problem answering no questions.
Yeah, so
I'm not obligated to answer a motherfucker that's talking records though.
Yeah,
I don't have to answer them. But when you come like you did, when you present like you did, I'm obligated to answer those questions.
I was happy as shit. I was telling my mom, I was like, motherfuckers be happy to go see like a celebrity, they famous rapper. When I woke up that morning and seen you message back, asking if I can go live, I was like, this can't be real. So I was like, hell yeah. Cause I was gonna like try to jump in one of your lives when you be building with multiple people, but I be stuck in the state of perfectionism and trying to, you know what I mean? So I'm like, nah, let me just wait. But when you reached back out, I was like, this is just the time to do what I need to do. So I appreciate the opportunity to be able to go back and forth and go over these questions and build with the people that's watching with the tribe.
Yeah, you got a good audience. Kudos to the questions. For they on the surface look like hard questions, but I'm prepared for them because I know the answers. But I appreciate that because now it just clarifies information for those that's foggy in places.
You know, definitely. All right, the last 2, and then this is it, y'all. Somebody said inner Earth civilizations.
Well, Malachi got a book called Shambhala Nagartha that goes deep into detail about inner Earth civilizations. We do know that the archons, a reptilian species that doesn't look human,
Yeah.
lived in the tunnels of Europe and the tunnels of Asia for thousands of years. And these were the ones who was teaching the Babylonian blood magic and sex magic and the harvesting of adrenochrome, right? And these were some of the beings we were ousting from the planet. Mm-hmm. So while the COVID lockdown was taking place, the militaries of the world, not just in America, but all over the world, were breaching tunnels. I was going over how do you see it on the earthquake map, because when you blow up the tunnels, they're going to give a earthquake signature that is predictable. It's what you call a low grade earthquake, around 3.0 to like 5.
Yeah.
Right. Those smaller earthquakes is the ones when they was breaching the tunnels, they was having them all over the planet. And I was showing them, this is all of my Facebook stuff, older stuff from when it first went down. I was showing them what was taking place in real time. This is how you read the earthquake map. This is what you're looking for, right? Then you overlay the earthquake map with the tunnel map. And then you can see exactly which tunnels they breaching. They breached a major tunnel in New York and brought hundreds of children out. They had a triage center set up in Central Park, and didn't nobody know what it was, but that's what it was for.
So we got the inner earth civilization. What about the West Indian Islands and their lands?
All of the islands, the people of the islands are in the process. Right?
Yeah, you did mention that earlier, yeah.
They are all in the process of throwing off the old rulership of the de factos, and the people of the lands are claiming them back. If you can look up 2 of them for starters, is Barbados, cessation from the Queen, and Jamaica. Jamaica's expected to be a republic by 2025. So all this is new information, and it's out and it's available in the public domain. It's not a secret.
This question was a good one because it ties into a question I wanted to ask earlier. But I'd be forgetting. So when he asks, am I able to proclaim my rights on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, the newspaper? Where would be the best public format?
All of them are equally, as long as it can be archived. That means time-stamped and dated, right?
Which is pretty much everything.
Yep. So it don't matter which one you use. They all can be, once you put it on there, it's automatically time-stamped and dated. At one time, all we had was newspaper. So we used to make public notices in the newspaper in the classified section. Now we have social media that's even more viable means, because you can do you can actually do a verbal declaration to reserve your indigenous organic rights to the land and your intentions to restore balance to the land, water, and the air by joining your clans, the collective clans. We all in on this shit together, whether we want to be or not. Okay. And some of the naysayers is going to suffer the wrath of the enemy because they're choosing sides with their sworn enemy. Now, they think they fighting us. They think they fighting us, but in all actuality, they are supporting the enemy. And anybody support the enemy gonna get treated like the enemy, period. And everybody gonna be addressed by their own people, by their own clan. Not my clan don't have to address everybody. It's just like I was telling Taj the other day, I'm not the one who have to clean up the dirty Moors out of the Moorish science. That's the righteous Moors' job. My only job was to tell y'all they was infiltrated and who infiltrated them and where they came from. Right? So once I did that, now I tell y'all whose job it is to clean it up. That's Chief Malik Angel Bey and Taj Tariq Bey. That's their job. That ain't my job. My job is to help Larry Hoover clean up the Nation of Growth and Development and reestablish ties back with the BD Nation, the BG Nation, and restore the whole BGDN collaboration. right? Angel Bay gonna worry about the vice lords and the stones. That I don't have to deal with them. That's not my side of the family to clean up.
Mm.
You know, I gotta support Larry Hoover. And because I was the one who took the initiative to start putting all of this stuff in action, it is my chief that end up having to be the one come out and get a report of the land and the status of the people. So when they want to know why am I supporting Larry Hoover, that's the reason why. He my chief. I don't need no other reason, but I got another one. It's the right thing to do. So by he being my chief and by being the right thing to do and by me knowing what to do, that's enough. I don't need no other excuses. While all these other motherfuckers out here talking about what I'm not doing or don't know, they not getting shit done. But I guarantee you that in short order, we gonna see Larry Hoover, Chief Malik Angel Bay, and Stan Tukey Williams. And they gonna give us the report on the land, and they gonna call their motherfucking soldiers to the forefront. Right? So when he say C Nation is on, when motherfucking Tukey say C Nation is on, and Angel Bay say all stones to the forefront, all El Rookins up front and center, I don't have to deal with that. They can deal with that. But all of the traitors is gonna be treated like traitors. Period. We know who they is. We got the grievance files on them because the people complain about them. It's not my job to worry about every individual that is a naysayer, right? Because like I say, everybody got a right to agree or disagree with me the same. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm not trying to convince nobody of nothing. I'm asserting my blood right to restore balance to the land. That's all I'm doing. The ones who don't know what I'm doing are my naysayers. That's my hater club. So for them, we're going to give them a hashtag, the hashtag fuck Rod Hayes. So they can have a new hashtag. All of the naysayers, that's my hashtag. All of the haters that don't like me, don't want to hear it, hashtag fuck Rod Hayes, and keep it moving.
Yes, please use it so we can point you out. So we can.
They're going to tell on themselves that whenever peaceful people congregate for a righteous purpose, they always come to sow the seeds of dissent. That's how we know them. That's their job. That's their birth. That's what they was born to do. And because they was born to be a disruption, they were also born to be beheaded.
They popping up with questions. I keep saying 2 last questions. This is the last 2 because it's more on like the system. Y'all got good questions, but we're gonna say those for later on. Off with the heads. No. How can we? I think you said this in the previous debt. I mean, live. The debt that they say we in has nothing to do with us.
That's nothing to do with us.
All right, so we ain't got to worry about the debt.
That's how much money that they borrowed against our shit.
Oh.
That's where the debt came from, the point of origin.
That makes so much sense.
So they've been borrowing money. They've been using our mineral wealth that they're not allowed to trade. So they've been holding our stuff in reserve for us, but they've been borrowing all that money against it and without telling us what they're doing. That make us not be liable for the debt. I can't go to the store and run a credit card up under your name without your consent. That's fraud, right? The credit card company can't make you pay that debt. I can be prosecuted for it, though. Do you see the difference? So they borrowed all that money over the years because they didn't want to use, or because they weren't allowed to use our natural wealth. So as long as they got us chasing reparations, we forego our natural wealth. Our natural wealth, the reparations that we calculate from the so-called slavery, which is actually a military action, is why we're not eligible for reparations, because it was war. We was locked in war. When the war is over, the war lock is lifted, and then we have access to our wealth, right? And they also use our labor as collateral to run that debt up too. And that's why it's important for us to stop working our jobs long enough to get from under the Internal Revenue Service, because that's the per diem contract that they under now. They couldn't get a new contract from anybody on Earth, but all of the countries are in the same condition.
Mm.
The islands look like they are so far ahead of us because there's less people that they have to make informed, right? So they talking to hundreds of thousands on the islands, up to maybe 2 or 3 million, depending on the size of the island. We talking to 300 and something million people, and all of them don't have a right to the land. Only the ones with the right to the land is the ones we trying to reach. You got some of them, right? They got to leave the world. They got to leave Earth. They can't stay here because they're not genetically tied to the Earth.
Mm.
Right? And these are the chaff, when we separate the wheat from the chaff. Some of them born into our families, and some of them been switched out at birth to be put in our families, and to take the actual child and put it with one of their families to steal the birthright. You know, so we sit here and watch what they're doing. We know CPS is the largest child trafficking network in the world, right? They tied directly to UNICEF, which is the United Nations sub-organization. They tied to something called Evergreen, which is the Hillary Clinton child trafficking cargo shipments. And they were shipping hundreds of children at a time to royal families all over the world. You know, for molestation purposes, for adrenochrome harvesting, for organ harvesting. They was doing all that, melanin harvesting. But it ain't just melanated children. When you look at the milk boxes, you'll see that it's more than the melanated children. You know, then that's all tied in together in the same network. And it's going to require us to restore matriarchy, because only under the matriarchal form of government is the children the primary point of focus. Feminism, the women take places of the men in patriarchy. That's feminism. Patriarchy is what the man say go, fuck what the women feel. That's it. So we want to go back to the child-friendly environmental symbiosis that we had with the earth before we were invaded. That means that anything that doesn't work in harmony with nature, we're not going to be doing that here on Earth.
Y'all got some good questions. All right. I had a screenshot the screen with the questions so I can type them up later. I'm gonna end with one more question.
Yeah, and if you get more questions, we can do a follow-up later on in the week.
Yes, yeah, like a week from now, just because I want the video to marinate and people, you know, digest it and research, just take it in and show the family and all that good stuff. So what was that last question? That one can wait. Somebody said something about Arlington. Where'd it go? Does Rod know about the Carrington event? It was a solar flare that scared the government in 1859.
Yeah, they just had a similar event. It was like a 3-hour solar flare about a week ago. So yeah, I'm familiar with it. It also it killed a lot of cattle. It caused fires and all kind of shit. Yeah.
Okay. Since that was a quick one, the last one is the last name Kiote, K-I-O-T-E. Do you have any idea of its origin?
Spell it again.
K-I-O-T-E.
Coyote. That's an indigenous name. That's actually the tribe whose totem is the coyote.
Mm.
And it's spelled that way, and it sounds like coyote or coyote, but it's a tribe. It's not the animal. So when they did the translation, they connected them by homonyms, sounded like words. But if you look up indigenous man wearing a coyote pelt, it's just a smaller clan than the Wolf Clan. but the totems are similar because they have a similar tribal nature.
This is not really a question, and this is it. She said, look at the IKEA. Look at IKEA. The name, they named the furniture after kidnapped children. And
yes, you're right. That's a IKEA was one of the ways they were using to traffic in plain sight. IKEA, the dark web, there's a couple more of them, Wayfair. Yeah, so they had ways that they was trading and auctioning off children in real time